Hey there, what's up, everybody? So, we all know that there are different ways in Football Manager that you can create loan opportunities for players. You can see if other people will loan your players in or not. But what you might not know is that there is kind of a trick to try to get other teams to pay some money for your players. I'm going to show you an example of how this works. Now, the information I'm going off of is actually a little bit old. This comes from an old Reddit post from a little while ago, but we'll go ahead and look into this together and see if we can come up with something that at least theoretically could work. I can't necessarily guarantee this is going to work for FM30 or FM23, but what I can tell you is that this is probably a good starting point when you're trying to figure out how much to ask for loans. So now you know that you can always use your loan manager and put players on the development list, but I mean, come on, man, you don't always want to do that. Sometimes you have too many players and you're like, there are these guys who I'm never going to use who are too old for like the under 21s. I want to get some money from them, right? So that is the case that we have here. This is Kwon Hyuk-kyu. He's not consistent, nor will he really ever be. I tried to sell him. Nobody wants him, and so we took him off the transfer list. You can see this is what his valuation is as, from 3.25 million renminbi to 5.5 million renminbi. Not really that much money if you know kind of what the currency conversion rate is. Now, how are we going to do it? How does this work? What sort of values do we usually look at? I'll show you the post here. I'm going to have a link to this down below. This is from a Reddit post from, 5 years ago. But I am unaware of any new numbers that have come out since. So I don't know, for the most part, if this still works or not, but this is at least a starting point. Now, the math here is more complicated than it has to be. So what this guy does is he says, okay, take the player's value, divide it by 12 months, and then you divide that by 4, take 25% of that, and that is the monthly fee for the player, and then you divide it by 4 again. The reason why is because when we're looking at wages, we're usually looking at wages per week, right? So basically, instead of taking the player valuation, divide by 12, divide by 4, then divide by 4 again, what you could do is you could take the player valuation and divide it by 192, and that will do it, right? And the reason why is because 12 times 4 times 4 is 192. So let's put this into action. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the sample here, which says, okay, there's somebody worth 6 million. So we take 6 million and we divide it by 192. What that tells us is that per week you could get maybe as much as 31,250 pounds. And it says here, okay, he's earning 25,000 per week. So we can take that minus 25,000. And you can see that you could get an additional 6,250 per week. You could multiply that by 4 and you get 25,000 again. Those are the exact same numbers he's come up with here. So this doesn't always work, right? Even in older versions of FM, this didn't really always work. But this is a way to start and a way to kind of test the waters. If you put guys out for a loan using this money and teams just aren't going to bite at that amount, then you can put them out maybe at a slightly lower amount and then see if they'll bite that way. You know, this is just a better idea than trying to start everybody at 0. Or if you put things out at undefined, as I've learned with FM23, usually they're going to come back to you and be like, oh, well, we don't want to pay any money for your guy, no matter how good he is, no matter how much he's worth. So now, as you're going to see here, it's going to be a little bit unfortunate for us in this case. Mr. Kwon, we're going to use the lowest amount of that of this estimation. So we'll use 3,250,000 divided by 192. That gives us 16,927 renminbi per week that we could conceivably charge for him as a loan fee. Now, this is where we're going to see the problem with my management. Sorry, guys. His wages are 180,000 per week. So as we go over to transfer and we do an offer to clubs, I don't know why that popped up. We try to offer to clubs again, go over to loan offer, and we even want to use like 10%. You see that's 18,000 per week. That is above the amount that we calculated here. In other words, you can just eyeball this. You get used to it after a while. We probably want to put him out for 0 and also for a 0 paying monthly fee. If his salary were lower, we could conceivably ask for a part of that salary to come back. His value is just not worth that much, right? That's the problem that we have. But, you know, this is a rich club that I'm running right here, so I'm just going to go ahead and offer him out to clubs. And we'll go from that. Now, this is a big part of sort of what my plan is, because I have a number of players here, as you can see, who, like Kim Jong-il and a couple others, who nobody wanted to put in an offer for. A big part of the reason why for Kwon Hyuk-kyu, as you can see, is the wage demand. because I have these players nobody's putting an offer in for, and I'm not going to use any of these guys next season, most of them are older than 21. They're not going to be on the under 21s. I'm just going to loan them out and let somebody else deal with them. And then after a season, hopefully playing somewhere instead of sitting on the bench for us, hopefully then somebody will be like, oh, I want to buy that player, and we'll buy them off of us. And if not, if we have to keep loaning them out till their contract ends, even if we're paying the wages, it's not really that big of a loss because at least they're doing something, right? Players playing will actually give them some kind of value, whereas having them just sit around will kind of take away whatever little value it is that they might have. Anyway, there's an idea for you of sort of what you can do with the loan structure. Once again, what you do is take the player value and you divide it at the lower end by 192. That will give you an estimate of what you can conceivably charge per week. If that is over their salary by a considerable amount, you can take the rest and convert it, multiply it by 4 to a potential monthly payment on top of their wages. And if you do this for enough players, you can get to the point where you're making money every single month through loans. So that's how you make money loaning players out. Hope you have a good day. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.